Perfect. So this is money in motion. So as we mentioned earlier, we're tracking these different events on a daily basis. So you have an overview. So IPOs, when shares are being traded, company acquisitions, when investments are received, and then the unicorn status. And we've tracked about $1.5 trillion worth of events to date. And then we've mapped executives to those different events. And you have the ability to see where you have your first degree connections and second degree connections to these different executives based on the mapping that we've done across the 300 million people that we're tracking, and then also by adding in your LinkedIn connections. So for example, if we take a look at an acquisition, we can go and we can see who do we know that were involved in such a transaction. And so when you click on that number, it'll pull up those events related to where you have second degree connections. So you can see here that there were different companies acquired for different valuations over different periods of time. And then you can go through and then you can look and see, okay, which companies are interesting. So for example, I can click on Michael, who's the president of this company, and I can see that he's married, he lives at this location. This is, where his company headquarters is. We have an inferred salary for that person. We have contact information. And then also we have the paths to that person. So if I go through Curtis, then I know that I can get to Michael. And we also map household members to those events as well. So you get a complete view of not only the executive that benefited from the transaction, but also other people that are in that household. So I think that that's really helpful. Then you have here the Chime logo. So when you click on that, that will immediately transfer that lead into the application. So now that's already in Chime, and then you can manage it through there. So it's really easy to move these leads over to the application. If we take one more example, looking at a stock transaction, we can look and see in the past month who was involved in inside stock sales. So I can go to these 13 people that I have links to, and then I can then see which ones are the ones that are interesting for me. So if you look through here, what is helpful with the application is that you can see, for example, that Mark, he sold about $500,000 worth of shares, but he also has around 21 million remaining shareholder value. So when you go into that profile, you get information about the school age ranges of the children, information about the company, and the potential path to get to that person. So it's very useful to be able to link your networks to these different people in Money in Motion. So that's, excuse me, how Money in Motion works. And then just to a couple.
Ralph, can I add something to that Money in Motion?
Yeah, sure, please.
So once you have this connection and bring it into Chime, I think one of the things that is really important is that once you know who it is, you can nurture it really easily through a smart plan. And this is on the Chime side, through a smart plan and being able to actually set up a market report to them. So you can slowly nurture some of these people if you're not able to capture them immediately through maybe someone you're not connected to. So you can actually start to drip them and they start to kind of see things from you. And then they kind of see, okay, like you're doing business there. So you might be able to like just send an email like, here, I've sold 6 homes in your neighborhood, or whatever you want to do that you think is going to best, be able to, target this person or
get that person into your funnel.
Exactly. Correct. Thanks.
Yeah, these events are coming in on a daily basis. So you're able to see how you map to those and then follow up with those different opportunities. And then you can also search by city, by state, company, if something happened that you're interested in. So we have a lot of filters built into that. Then, as Eric mentioned in his cases that he reviewed, we have networking networks, which allows you to get an overview of not only your own network, but also your team's network. So you can import your connections from LinkedIn. Those are then enriched with our attributes, the consumer and the professional attributes. And then we provide you an overview of what that network looks like across different categories. So company, industries, universities, titles, inferred salary ranges. And then what I think is really helpful is that you can build teams. So you can have your own company team where you can see then a group of people and how their combined networks come together. or you can have a one-to-one team. So Eric and Dar combining their network, for example. And then each one of these networks that you're combining together provides more paths to both the executives that benefiting from the wealth events, but also to the profiles that we have in our vault, the 300 million. So you can find connections there. And I'll just show you an example of what that looks like when we enrich those connections that come in. So for example, if you look at, we have the consumer filters, so you can search by home address, by age, by gender, marital status, education ranges. If you're looking for people that are interested in golf, which is an interesting attribute for, depending on where they want to live, then you get an overview of people that have that as a criteria. And then if you go into the profile, then you see what we've appended to that. So this came in from LinkedIn, the name, the company, and the title. And we've added information about the age, the children, the home address, the interest, inferred salaries, contact information, and then also household members that are connected to that property as well. So you have a lot of insights that come in through this import of your connections and through your teams. So that's an overview of what that looks like when your connections come in. And then just to show the example that Eric was mentioning about being able to visually see this, if you look, let's take, for example, Fitbit being acquired by Google. If you search for Fitbit, you'll see on a map all of the people that worked for Fitbit. And then you're able to say, okay, we would like to look at people that have an inferred income from 250 to 500. And then you're able then to drill into that and see who are those people that were involved in that. So if I get down, you can get down to the street level, and then you can look at this household, and you'll see that this person here worked at Fitbit, married at this address, enjoys sports and travel, has this inferred income, you have contact information. And then if there was a path to this person, you would also see how you would get to that person. So there's a lot of information that you can use also, not only from a wealth event perspective, but just on a day-to-day searching for, companies moving from one headquarter to another headquarter, or an acquisition, or, looking at people that fit certain types of profiles that you're trying to identify.